guys, today we are doing Module 14, Are You Ready? So you should have your workbook on page 361. I want you to do page 361 and 362 before you check yourself. So I want you to attempt these exercises first and then watch the video to check yourself. Okay? So let's look at 361. It says, which squares show equal parts? If your teacher gives you 4 square pieces of paper and asks you to cut each piece of paper into 4 equal sized pieces, you try these 4 patterns for your cuts. So A, we've got 4 columns. B, we've cut it into 4 squares. C, we've got 2 columns and 2 squares. And D, we have 4 rows. So the first question says, which squares show equal sized pieces? So A definitely, B and D definitely. But let's look at C. So we've got 2 rows, which we know that rows are equal, that takes up half, and then the 2 squares, so it's like a combination of A and B. So C looks like they're all 4 equal. If one square would be the same amount as each column, they would be the same, and D is the same. So which squares show equal sized pieces? It's actually A, B, C, and D. A, B, C, and D. All 4 of them show equal sized pieces. What fraction does one of these equal sized pieces represent? So each one is 1/4. And at the bottom it says, how can you prove the 4 pieces in C have the same area? Well, we can say that it's a combination of A and B. So really, if we took B, we could take B because that's the same as these squares. If we cut them like this and we move the pieces around, we could show that if we cut the squares in half and then move the pieces on top of each other, we can make columns. Do the fours have to be the same size shape? So the fours do not have to be the same size shape as long as they have the same area. So they could be the column, they could be a row, they could be a square. So the fours do not have to be the same size shape, but they do have to take up the same area. All right, on the next page. So remember, if you haven't attempted these problems, I want you to do the problems before we go over it, okay? So it says, complete these problems to review prior concepts and skills you will need for this module. All right, for 1 and 2, it says equal shares. They want us to write the number of equal shares, then write halves, thirds, or fourths to name the squares. So number 1, how many equal shares are there? We have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 equal shares. That means it will be thirds. So this is thirds. Number 2, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 equal shares. So this one would be fourths. F-O-U-R-T-H-S. Fourths. All right, 3, 4, and 5, they want us to write the number of equal parts in the whole, then write the fraction that names the shaded part. So we want to count the pieces, and then we're going to count how many are shaded. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 equal parts. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces shaded. So it's 4, 6 is shaded. Number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. We had 1, 2, 3 shaded. So it's 3 out of 4. Number 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal parts. You see how I'm touching each one? I don't want to make a mistake. I want to count them. So if I have to touch each one to make sure I count it correctly, that's fine. And then how many are shaded? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 8 are shaded. 7 eighths. Number 6 and 7, shade to show the fraction. Then they want you to draw a line. This is important. Draw a line to make an equivalent fraction. So this is review from 2 modules ago. And then write the equivalent fraction. So we have 1/3. So I'm going to shade in 1 out of 3 pieces. And then we're gonna draw a line through it to make an equivalent fraction. So this is like saying times 2. So 1/3 times 2 is going to give us, now we have 2 pieces out of 6. So 1/3 is equivalent to 2/6. So if you didn't get number 6 right, then try it on 7 before. So pause the video, try 7 again. All right, 7, we have 2/4. So shade in 1, 2 out of 4, and then we're going to draw a line to make it equivalent. So I'm going to cut it in half. So this is like saying times 2. So 2/4 times 2 equals 2 4/8. That's it.